What is up, you guys? It's your spiritual fairy godmother, and I am back. Okay, I am back with a word. Okay, because God told me to tell y'all that sacrifice is self-love. Okay, sacrifice is self-love. Okay, I kind of also wanted to name this video "It's Okay to Double Back" because I feel like they're kind of like one and the same word. But basically, God had really put it on my spirit to talk about sacrifice and to talk about how much self love it truly takes to sacrifice yourself, to sacrifice something that you love, to sacrifice something that's a hobby of yours, to sacrifice anything in order to get to a better position in your life. Even if it's I'm gonna cut out sugar, I'm gonna cut out fast foods because I have high blood pressure or something like that. Even something, I don't want to say as simple as that because it's not simple at all, but there are so many different forms of self-love, and I think the one that we don't talk about enough is definitely sacrifice. I have been in a season of sacrifice, but I have also recently been in a season of black backsliding and kind of going back on my word or going back on a promise that I gave to God or something that I told God. I feel like all of last year was like teeter-tottering. Like it was me going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between sacrifice and I'm gonna just live my life. Um, and now I'm to the point where the sacrifice feels almost inevitable. Like certain things that I love, certain people that I thought I loved, certain friendships and certain ideals and certain things that I guess I had in my mind are now needing to be sacrificed, needing to kind of just be eliminated. And a lot of it is not like on my own accord. A lot of it is not because I don't want to be friends with that person anymore. Or a lot of it is not, oh, I really want to stop smoking weed because, baby, I don't want to. Okay? I don't want to. However, I think the purpose is becoming a lot bigger than ourselves. I don't know what y'all going through. I don't know if y'all doing it for y'all kids, y'all family members, even just for yourself or for God. I noticed that right now a lot of us are being called to something. You know, it may not be the same for everybody, but I do feel like a lot of us, a lot of God's children are now being called to be better, to achieve more, to be in a different period or a different space in our lives. I feel like God is now allowing us to walk into a whole new book. We are no longer just flipping through the chapters at this I'm sorry, at this point it is a whole new book. Okay, I feel like God is opening up doors for us. God is opening up rooms for our names to be mentioned in. God is opening up a doors to more finances. God is opening up a door to luxury. And luxury doesn't always have to mean something that is materialistic. Luxury can be something as simple as I love the luxury of being able to wake up and not go to a job. I love being able to just wake up and be me, like do me, do whatever it is that I want to do, move however it is that I want to move. Like I'm so excited about life. I'm so excited about life. And I feel like the things that I am sacrificing, I'm not just sacrificing them for me. In these words, I don't know, I notice a lot of people don't really talk too much about themselves and their story, but I find the way that I communicate and the way that I relate is not me being selfish or just trying to talk about myself, but I want y'all to understand like kind of where I'm coming from. For me, God is having me sacrifice sex. God is having me sacrifice smoking weed, And what else? And I would honestly say I am sacrificing connections right now. I guess I would say I'm sacrificing temporary connections in order to get to the bigger picture. So when it comes to sex, I feel like I'm not just sacrificing sex for me. I feel like I'm also sacrificing sex for my daughter, for who I allow myself to be attached to. I'm sacrificing it for the not having to sit here and keep telling my friends about different niggas. I'm sacrificing sex for my own health, my body, the fact that my body is a temple, the fact that my body is mine. I'm sacrificing sex for my husband. I think about him a lot, and I have been thinking about him a lot lately. And I just want to save myself for him. Obviously, I'm not a virgin, but I just think about the fact that, like, I wouldn't want my husband out here just moving crazy or, you know, just making connections just to be making them just so he don't got to be lonely. Like, I don't want that. And I noticed that a lot of spiritual women, we could be looked at as like promiscuous or, I don't know, like, y'all ever see how they talk about like Erykah Badu? How they act like her pussy just got spells and all that kind of. I feel like a lot of people assume that about me as well. Like, I just be putting spells on niggas or something out here. I don't know. Like, this is why I'm here, because I'm the person that's gonna give it to y'all real and raw and just like me. I'm not gonna come to y'all talking about God like I'm holier than thou, like I do everything right. No, I don't. Okay. For a long time, I felt like I was seeking love, like the love of a man, and I just never got it. Even now to this day, I don't have male friends in my life. I don't have men who I can just look up to, men who are faithful to their wives, men who are good to my sister, cousin, aunties, and I don't personally have good men in my life that I look at as role models. I have uncles and they're good men, but I don't know, like I wouldn't consider them a role model as far as to what I would want my husband to emulate or be like or whatever the case may be. Okay. So for me, when I say I'm sacrificing sex, it's not just about me. It's not just about my feelings or me getting my feelings involved or none of that. It's also about the outcome of what having what's the word? Not unmarital sex. That I feel like sex with no real attachments, because I always get attached and niggas don't be attached to me. So it just be like no, but we're not gonna do that anymore. And God told me like, okay, we're gonna be celibate. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sacrifice these quick, intimate moments for longevity, because I noticed one thing about me. I can't do casual sex. I can't do casual intimacy. I can't do temporary intimacy. I can't do we friends, but whenever we at each other's house, we intimate. Like, I can't really do that. I can't really turn off my feelings and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sacrificing temporary moments of closeness for longevity. When it comes to smoking, I don't want to smoke. I mean, I don't want to stop smoking. The reason why it's a sacrifice is because it's not just for or about me. It's also about the fact that the inner child in me needs to heal. The inner child who felt like, damn, my mama just go in the bathroom when she get home, and my mom smokes, and me not liking it and all of that. Like, the inner child in me wants to be healed from that. I'm also sacrificing for Kamaya. She don't need to see me high, or she don't need to smell the house with weed in it. She don't need to know what a blunt is. She don't need to see her mom needing a minute to go in the bathroom. Like, certain things, I know I'm not changing it specifically or just for me. I want to be more present. I want to not depend on something. Like, I want to be able to calm myself down without being like, man, I need to hit the blunt. Like, certain things that God is calling me or asking me to sacrifice, again, are not just for me. Like, the things that I want to sacrifice are also for the people that I love and for the people that I care about. When I tell y'all, backsliding is a thing, and it's a thing for a reason. I feel like God has been showing me that, like, it's okay to mess up. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall. Like, you learn best when you fall. You learn best when you make a mistake, when you can learn from your mistakes, when you can learn how to be different, learn what to do differently. Like, I'm not going to punish you for something that I already knew that you was going to do. However, I ain't saying that it may not hold you back. I'm not saying that it may not hinder a couple things. But if that's what you need to do in order to see that that's not for you anymore, like, when I tell y'all, I had literally stopped smoking for like a whole month. And if you know me, a month is a long time, okay? It's a very long time. I stopped smoking for a month, backslid when we went out of town, got to smoking again, and it was like, I enjoyed my high. Like, that's something that I'll be praying for. Like, God, don't make me not like weed. Like, don't force me into not liking weed. Allow me to kind of wean myself and not want it for myself. So I'd be scared sometimes, like, I'm gonna have a bad high, like, because I haven't smoked in so long. And that's what I thought was gonna happen. But it turns out I was so much more spiritual. I was so much more in my head. I was so in tune with my intuition and feeling everything. And I remember thinking, like, this is why I get high. Like, this is why I get high. Because I can just be me. And even that felt wrong. Like, it felt like, why can't I be this same spiritual girl wanting to talk about all this spiritual weird shit when I'm not high? Why am I not as tapped in? Why is my third eye not as open as when I'm not high? So it was like I needed to backslide. I ended up backsliding on my celibacy, and I was celibate for months. I'm talking months, okay? And I've talked about this guy in the past, but a dude from my past ended up coming into my reality again. And when I tell y'all, I'm learning to keep certain things off of social media. But when I tell y'all, God literally had to show me in one of the worst ways that, like, it's time to cut him off. It's time to cut him off. It was like, with every dude that I was dealing with, I felt like I kept comparing them to him. Until God had me backslide. The nigga came back in my DMs and I fell for it. We got to talking again or whatever. And it was like, this who you comparing these niggas to? Because at first it was like I had an ideal or a fantasy of who this man was. And once God started to reveal to me who he actually was, those thoughts and those fantasies and the what if, or we could have been this, or my life could have looked like this, like, all those things were no longer a factor. I could now wait for my husband, but not in vain. Like, I could now just be okay with, I'm going to be celibate. I'm no longer dating. I'm going to allow my husband to find me. It just was what it was, because before I felt like, again, I kept comparing everybody to him. And if I never would have backslid and went back, I never would have saw the real him. I never would have saw that this is not what I want for myself. This is not, you're not the person that I would want for myself. It was like God, like, flipped the switch. Like, once I backslid, I could see that I was no longer the person who he was dealing with that first time anymore. But I needed to see that for myself. I needed to learn that about myself, that, hey, no, I have changed. In these last 6 months, you are not the same girl that you was 5'5". You are not that same person anymore. You do not accept the same things. You don't allow the same things. You don't even like the same sex positions. Like, you don't like the way he smell no more. You don't like the way he feel no more. Like, same with weed. Like, it was like, I don't like going out my house and smelling other people smell like weed. I didn't know that I didn't like that. Now, and don't judge me, because I know I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna say. I ain't even gonna say it. But I really just don't enjoy it. Like, I don't enjoy knowing, like, when I see somebody walk past me and they just smell like gas, or when I walk out my apartment building and all it smell like in my neighborhood is like weed, it does not make me feel good. It makes me feel like we need to do better. Like, why we at the baby school and you smell like weed? When that used to be me smelling like weed, and I didn't even realize, or I didn't even notice, or I didn't even care. And it's just like, at certain moments, God will literally take you back to where you once were, just to show you, baby, I saved you from this. I took you away from this. This is no longer where you need to be. I backslid into a friendship. Start kicking it with the motherfucker again. And God was just like, girl. And I had to be like, God, that I had to make sure that we was on the same page. And it was like, before me and the person got the kicking it again, in my mind, I'm like, damn, like, I miss my bitch. Like, I miss us having fun. I miss us just being wild. And now that I'm different and I'm older, I'm like, okay, what I missed was her not judging me because we both struggling. What I missed was the freedom that, shit, we could do whatever the fuck we wanted to do. What I missed was the drinking, the smoking together, the fun. And then what I realized was drinking and smoking is no longer my version of fun. Being wild and free, that's no longer the case. I got a baby. I'm not wild and free. And the fun that we were having, it wasn't wild and free. It was just irresponsible. And it was young, and I can't do that anymore. That can't be my version of fun anymore. But I never would have known that. I would have kept reminiscing about the old times, unless I had backslid and realized that the old times are just that, the old times. I craved the non-judgmental part of the friendship, where it was like, look, we both going through shit. And then God showed me the cycle. She come around every time you're going through shit. But when shit start getting good for you, motherfuckers is nowhere around. There's no congratulations. There's no good job. There's no I'm proud of you. There's no I'm happy for you. It's only let me vent to you. This is what I got going on. Like, it just got to a point where God showed me that certain sacrifices were being made for my good. So in the moment, it may seem like, damn, bitch, now you lonely. You ain't dating and you ain't got no friends. God kicking all the friends out and you ain't got no niggas. But I told God, like, I'm willing to sacrifice the mundane friendships. I'm willing to sacrifice the temporary connections. I'm willing to sacrifice the fun for time to myself to realize, well, what is my new version of fun? What does fun look like to me? Who do I have fun with? What kind of fun am I trying to have? Like, I feel like sacrifice and backsliding go hands in hand, because we're imperfect beings. We're human beings. And we're never going to be 100% perfect. We're never going to be 100% right. We're never going to be, I just, you know, I feel like even as an old 79-year-old woman, I'm probably still going to want to be something better, or want to strive for more, or want to live the best of my ability to have the best life that I can for the few years that I'm going to have. Like, I feel like there's always something to be reached. There's always something to look forward to. And in this season, I feel like God is calling you to look towards the things that you look forward to. That new car, that new home, that new business suit that you want to buy, the new briefcase you want to buy for work, the new outfits you want to buy, purchasing land for the new build. Maybe you have your own store, 555. Maybe you have 222. Maybe you have a community. Maybe you're building a village. Maybe you have a farm. Maybe you are the CEO. Maybe you are the founder. Maybe you're trying to get your own business started. Maybe you have a hairline. Maybe you make skincare products. Whatever it is that you are setting your eyes on, think of something that you can maybe sacrifice in order to get you there. If you constantly spending plenty money on gas, maybe do parking rides. Okay, well, I know that I maybe want to lease a better car that's better on gas, or I want to be able to hire a Lyft service or a chauffeur service for me. So for a whole 3 months, 90 days, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do parking ride. So I'm gonna only drive right up the street to this mall, park my car, and because there's plenty buses over here, guess what? I can get on one bus and be to work and not have to pay, that amount of money that I would have paid to get from here to there. Right? So it's realizing the little tiny sacrifices that you can make. I feel like God is not asking us to just be miserable. God is not asking us to have no friends. God is not asking us to be lonely and to be in solitude and isolate and be away from everybody and cut off everything that we love. Don't eat no junk food. Don't live like. God is not asking that of us, but God is asking, what can we do to be a co-creator in the process of what it is that we want for our life? God is not going to do all the work. Okay, what's the saying? Prayers without works is dead. Okay, like it just does not work like that. There is no way that God can only provide. Now, God don't have a love tank like us. God cup don't runneth empty. However, God can be the only one pouring. You have to be willing to pour into yourself and pour into your dreams as well. And sometimes that looks like sacrifice. Okay, you can't buy that coffee from Starbucks every day. It's $4. $4 times, maybe you go into work 5 days a week, it adds up. So that amount of money you can save for 4 weeks, a whole month, and then guess what? You can go get that new TV, or you can get that Alexa, or you can buy this thing that you want. If you buy a new pair of J's every check, that's $200, $300 that every check you could be saving up to start your own shoe company, to pay for your LLC, to pay for all the yearly fees, to get your taxes done, to make that big purchase, to go all out for your birthday, to give something to your niece. Whatever it is, I feel like in this season, God is asking you, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get what it is that you want? Because I'm a miracle worker. I can give you anything that you want, but what would life be if everything was just handed to you? You wouldn't even have room in your arms to carry everything if God just gave you everything. You have to be willing to let something go. You have to be willing to sacrifice something. And that can even just be old baggage. That could be, I'm going to sacrifice the way that I think. I'm always talking bad about myself. I'm going to sacrifice 30 minutes of phone time, and I'm going to make that 30 minutes of prayer. Your sacrifice doesn't have to be big, okay? But I feel like in this season, God is asking you to sow a seed into something that you love. Sow a seed into one of your goals. Sow a seed into one of your goals, okay? And if you backslide while doing that, it's okay. The best thing that you could do is acknowledge your mistake. Be aware of the fact that you made a mistake. Ask yourself why. Why did I backslide? Was I going through something? Is this how I handle things when I'm going through something? Am I bored? Am I emotional? Am I stressed out? Am I worried? What caused me to go back to that thing or that person or that habit or that hobby or that mentality? What caused me to go back there? What kept me going? Why did I keep reaching for it? Why did I keep wanting that blunt? Why do I keep wanting sex? Why do I keep wanting men who don't want me? It's time to get deep. It's time to go all the way in there. Because again, we're leaving that book behind. We starting a new book. So you can't be so worried about the chapters of the old book, rereading them over and over again. Baby, get you a synopsis. Figure it out. Write it down. Journal. Create a book of my life. Start a new one. Get you a new book, notebook, a fresh planner, fresh journal. And start to co-create with God. Start to ask yourself, what can I release? What can I get rid of? If I'm not willing to make a sacrifice just yet, start by something small. What can I clean up today? What area of my life can I clean up? Is there any area of my house that's dusty? Am I looking at any dirt on the floor or on the walls? Or is there anything I can clean up? Use that as a metaphor for your life, because it's time to clean it up. Okay? We wrapping up the last season. We wrapping up the last book. We are over it. We are done. Okay? You're going to have to let some things go from the last chapter. You're going to have to let some things go from the last book. It's okay. It's okay. Anything that's meant for you is always going to be yours. It's always going to come back to you. It's always going to gravitate towards you. It's always going to be attracted to your magnet, to your light, to your frequency. If it's not meant for you, God will gladly take it away. So use your discernment, okay? On your friends, on your family, on your thoughts. Every thought ain't your thought. Every thought you don't got to listen to. You don't got to take it to the head. Every negative consumption, every negative thing that you see on TV, on a tarot reading, on a TikTok, on an Instagram, somebody make you feel some type of way about yourself, sacrifice that. Let it go. Let it go. That thought, sacrifice that thought. Oh, okay. I'm irritated today. Oh, so we're going to sacrifice that thought. And we're going to change it out with... I am lucky. I'm grateful. I show gratitude to the Lord for being able to let me breathe another day to even be irritated. I thank God for the opportunity. I thank God for the experience, because now I'm going to be better and I'm not going to get irritated by shit like this no more. And when I do, guess what? I'm going to think about it. And I'm going to realize that I backslid, and I'm going to remember how I felt when I handled the situation better. And I'm going to try to get back towards that. I'm going to strive for that. Okay, so again, before we end this reading off, I just want to let you guys know that it is okay to backslide. Okay, mistakes makes masters. Okay, I don't know where that came from, but that's what I just heard. And sacrifice is a form of self-love. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, share it on all your social medias. I am out of here, guys.